A streak of silver tore across the sky like the blade of a celestial sword, slicing through the darkness. People from different continents raised their heads, cameras flashed, and scientists scrambled, but none of them saw what truly descended onto the earth that night. Only 2 people saw its real form. Zhan Wang Yibo. Their destinies had been pulled toward that falling star long before it ever pierced the atmosphere. Beneath the storm-shaped clouds of Qinghe Ridge, the wind roared like a beast trying to escape the mountains. Xiao Zhan stood on the cliff edge, cloak snapping behind him. His eyes locked onto the falling light. For a moment, the star looked like it was coming directly for him, not falling, calling him. He felt it in his chest, a magnetic pull, as if the universe had finally whispered his purpose. He didn't know that miles away, another presence was racing toward the same point. On his motorcycle, engine screaming through the empty mountain pass, Wang Yibo leaned forward, accelerating into the wind. His heart hammered. His instincts had never failed him, and tonight those instincts screamed that the falling star wasn't just a cosmic accident. It was a message, summons, a warning. When the star hit the ground, the explosion of light was so bright it flattened the shadows. Shockwaves rippled through the trees, bending them like blades of grass caught in a hurricane. Xiao Zhan shielded his face with one arm and felt the raw power vibrating under his feet. Then a silence so intense it made his ears ring. Smoke curled upward like silver mist. Step by cautious step, he walked toward the crater, boots sinking into scorched earth. At the center lay not a meteor, not a rock, not cosmic debris, but an object glowing faintly like a dying heartbeat. Or star core. He reached toward it, slow, hesitant, breath uneven. Just before his fingers touched the surface, a voice cut through the smoke like a blade. "Don't move." Xiao Zhan froze. He turned slowly, and through the haze a silhouette emerged. Lean, sharp, confident, like a shadow carved from the night itself. Wang Yibo. 2 locked eyes. 1,000 emotions flickered between them. Recognition, confusion, the faint memory of a dream neither had fully understood. "You felt it too," Xiao Zhan said quietly. "I didn't just feel it," Yibo replied, stepping closer. "It called me." The glowing core pulsed again, softly, weakly, like a fading heartbeat. And in that moment, an energy wave shot outward, flowing straight through both of them. Xiao Zhan felt warmth rush through his veins. Yibo felt a cold shock of clarity. Their senses sharpened. Their minds connected for a split second, like 2 stars aligning in a cosmic pattern older than the earth itself. Flashes bombarded their minds. Burning sky. A celestial battlefield. A throne of shattered constellations. 2 figures standing back to back, holding up the night. Then, darkness. Both men staggered, breathing heavily. "What was that?" Xiao Zhan asked. "Not a memory," Yibo whispered. "A prophecy." Before they could speak again, the ground trembled beneath them. Cracks formed around the crater, glowing with dangerous ferocity. Something began crawling out of the fissures, twisted creatures made of smoke and starlight, their forms shifting like nightmares caught in the wind. The cosmic shadow beasts. The first sign that the star's arrival had awakened something ancient. One lunged at Xiao Zhan from the side. Instinctively, he raised his arm, and light exploded from his palm. Pure, sharp, blinding. The creature evaporated instantly. He stared at his hand, stunned. Across from him, Yibo raised his own hand, shadows swirling around his fingers like a tightening storm. When a second beast attacked, he sliced through it with a blade of condensed darkness. Light and shadow. Opposites. Complements. Pieces of the same cosmic power. Xiao Zhan looked at him, breath unsteady. "You control shadow." "And you," Yibo said, eyes glowing faintly. "Control the light." The beasts regrouped, circling like wolves. Xiao Zhan clenched his fists, light building around him. "You ready?" Yibo smirked, darkness curling around him like a second skin. "I was born ready." They charged. What followed wasn't a battle. It was a dance. Light streaked through the air as Xiao Zhan moved, graceful, precise, every step a burst of radiance that turned the battlefield into a galaxy of sparks. Yibo's shadows twisted around him, bending like living ink, forming spears, blades, whips of darkness that struck with lightning speed. The two fought as if they had trained together for years, anticipating each other's movements, covering blind spots, forming a perfect harmony of light and shadow. A creature leapt at Yibo from behind. Xiao Zhan was there instantly, a beam of light piercing the beast's chest. Another lunged at Xiao Zhan from the front. Yibo's shadows sliced it cleanly. Their abilities intertwined like a cosmic force awakening for the first time in centuries. When the final creature dissolved into smoke, the entire forest fell still. Only their breathing filled the air. Xiao Zhan wiped his forehead, chest rising and falling. "You fight like you've done this before." "I haven't," Yibo replied, "but somehow it feels like I have." They both turned toward the glowing star core, now pulsing faster, like it had fed on the battle, awakening more and more with every heartbeat. "Whatever this is," Xiao Zhan said, "it chose us." "Or warned us," Yibo countered. They stood inches apart, the core's light reflecting in their eyes. Two destinies, suddenly intertwined. Then the ground began trembling again, but differently this time. Not from danger. From emergence. Behind the core a projection formed like a hologram made of starlight. A woman with constellation-like eyes appeared, ancient and ethereal. Her voice echoed through the atmosphere. "You who carry the light. You who command the shadow. The star has found its guardians again." Xiao Zhan inhaled sharply. "Guardians?" Yibo's fists clenched. "Guardians of what?" Her eyes darkened. "Of the final star. Of the boundary between worlds. Of the cosmic oath that was broken long ago." Xiao Zhan and Yibo exchanged a tense glance. "What happens if we refuse?" Yibo asked. The Star Woman's gaze pierced him. "Then the universe will collapse. Starting with your world." Lightning cracked across the sky. Wind spiraled like a vortex. And in the distance, something massive stirred in the clouds. Something ancient, awakened by the star's arrival. A shadow of unimaginable scale. Xiao Zhan whispered, "What is that?" The Star Woman's voice trembled with fear for the first time. "The Devourer. The one who consumes stars. He has awakened." Yibo stepped forward, face hardened. "Then tell us what we're supposed to do." The projection flickered. "You must find the fragments of the celestial star. When all are united, the true power will awaken within you both." Xiao Zhan frowned. "How many fragments?" "7. "And where are they?" Yibo asked. Her answer came like thunder. "Hidden across your world, and beyond it." Before they could speak again, the projection burst apart, scattering like sparks on the wind. The night sky above Qinghe Ridge did not return to normal. Even after the cosmic battle, even after the mysterious Star Woman's warning, the clouds still glowed faintly with streaks of silver energy. It felt as though the atmosphere itself was breathing, awake, alert, watching. Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo stood amidst the shattered earth, neither speaking for several long seconds. The bond formed during the battle still buzzed between them, faint but undeniable, like a thread connecting two distant stars. Finally, Xiao Zhan broke the silence. "That projection, she called us guardians." His voice was soft, but there was weight in it. "Why yes? Out of the billions of people on Earth." Yibo bent down, picking up a shard of scorched rock. It pulsed faintly with the same cosmic glow as the fallen star core. "You felt the pull before it landed," he said. "Same as I did." He tossed the rock aside and stood. "This wasn't random. We were chosen long before tonight." Xiao Zhan stepped closer to the crater's center. His hand hovered above the charred earth, and when he touched it, warmth traveled up his arm. Light flickered at his fingertips. Uncontrolled, reactive, alive. He pulled his hand back. "It's still inside me." "Good," Yibo replied, crossing his arms. "Because whatever that thing was in the clouds isn't going to wait politely for us to figure things out." Thunder rumbled again. Not earthly thunder. This sound was deeper, layered, like the echoing roar of a creature older than time itself. Both men instinctively looked to the sky. A gust of wind tore through the trees as the clouds above began swirling. Silver energy rippled through the atmosphere like waves on the surface of a cosmic ocean. Xiao Zhan stiffened. Something's coming. No, Yibo said quietly, narrowing his eyes. Something's watching. A ripple of shadow moved between the clouds. Not a shape. Not a creature. Presence. A vast, ancient consciousness brushing against the world, tasting the new guardian's powers. The Devourer was awake. The temperature dropped instantly. Frost formed along the shattered crater. The forest went silent again, but this time with fear. Xiao Zhan clenched his fists, but instead of light, a strange flicker of darkness threaded through it, an echo from the earlier connection he shared with Yibo. He looked at his hands, startled. I'm not just controlling light. I absorbed some of your shadow. Yibo blinked, equally surprised. And I? He raised his hand. A faint spark of white light flickered at his fingertips. I can feel your energy too. Their eyes met with a new understanding. They hadn't just awakened powers. They had awakened a bond. A cosmic link between light and shadow. Two halves of the same starborn force. The sky pulsed again. Yibo grabbed Xiao Zhan's wrist. Move. Now. They raced from the crater just as a bolt of black lightning struck the exact spot they had been standing. The impact cracked the ground in a perfect circle, a warning shot from the Devourer. Or a claim. He wants the star core, Yibo said breathlessly as they reached the trees. And anything connected to it. Which means us, Xiao Zhan replied. Before they could catch their breath, the shadows around them rippled, forming tendrils that crept along the ground like living smoke. Xiao Zhan backed up. More beasts. No, Yibo drew closer to him. These aren't beasts. These are scouts. The tendrils surged forward. Xiao Zhan unleashed a burst of light, but the shadows swallowed it like it was nothing. His eyes widened. They adapted, he whispered. Already. Yibo pulled him behind a tree. Then we adapt faster. He spread his fingers, letting the shadow energy flow, but this time he infused it with the sliver of Xiao Zhan's light that now lived inside him. The shadows around his hand grew brighter, silvery instead of black. He struck the ground, releasing the new hybrid force. The shock wave vaporized the tendrils instantly. Xiao Zhan stared in awe. You combined our powers. Yibo smirked. Looked like a good time to improvise. But the forest suddenly shook again, this time not from distant cosmic movement, but from something much closer. A low growl vibrated through the soil. The ground cracked. Something enormous pushed upward from the depths. Xiao Zhan took a step back, heart hammering. Please tell me that's not another beast. It's not, Yibo said, raising his arms defensively. The ground split open completely, and a colossal eye, shaped like a burning galaxy, appeared beneath the soil. It was not fully formed, not fully awakened, but it was looking directly at them. The Devourer's first fragment of consciousness. Its voice shook the world. Light. Erdo. You cannot escape destiny. Trees collapsed. Rocks shattered. The pressure was so intense Xiao Zhan dropped to one knee. Yibo grabbed his arm. Stay with me. Focus your light. Xiao Zhan tried, but the energy inside him trembled violently, resisting like a star struggling to ignite. I can't control it. Yes, you can. Yibo shouted over the quake. You don't have to control it alone. Let the bond guide it. Xiao Zhan met his eyes. Trust sparked between them. They reached out simultaneously. Light and shadow intertwined around their hands like a double helix of pure cosmic force. The Devourer roared. Their combined energy blasted outward, forming a shield of swirling silver that forced the massive eye back into the earth. The ground sealed shut with a thunderous crack. Silence. Complete eerie silence. Xiao Zhan fell onto the grass, chest heaving. Yibo dropped down beside him. Well, that was dramatic. Xiao Zhan managed a weak laugh. So we just fought a cosmic monster's eyeball. Part of it, Yibo corrected. A very tiny part. The humor faded. The sky still pulsed with unnatural color. The world was changing, and they were now at the center of it. Yibo, Xiao Zhan said quietly. That thing isn't going to stop. No, Yibo agreed. But neither are we. He stood and offered Xiao Zhan a hand. We find the fragments, all of them, before he does. Xiao Zhan took his hand, pulling himself up. Their eyes locked once more. Not as strangers, not even as reluctant allies, but as two forces bound by cosmic design. Light and shadow, guardians of the final star. The wind whispered around them, carrying whispers of distant worlds, ancient battles, and the heavy truth that their journey had only just begun.